Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Sharon Momanyi from Nairobi, Kenya, and I bring you another basket load of environmental topics in our new episode of Echo at Africa. And I'm not alone. Joining me is my colleague Neota from Nigeria.
Hi there, Sharon, and hello everybody, and a warm welcome to the show. I'm Neota in Abuja, Nigeria. This week you'll learn why a German company is growing vegetables indoors. But that's not all we have on the show. Here are the other things we have lined up for you. We visit Mozambique, where German scientists signed a partnership with a national park. We'll explain why sharks in Bosnia need better protection to survive. And we find out how one man in Cameroon is making money with biogas, while at the same time helping the environment. The African wild dog is viewed as one of the most endangered species in Africa, once covering almost the entire continent in numbers 500,000 strong. There are now only a few pockets of them left in eastern and southern Africa. But the carnivore performs an essential role in maintaining the biodiversity on the continent. They are integral to the regulation of prey species and contribute to a healthy ecosystem. A zoologist is now campaigning for the wild dog survival in South Africa's Kruger National Park.
It's not the baboons that Antoine Markel has come to see, or the larger animals that are always the big draw for the tourists. The zoologist is fighting for the survival of the African wild dog. He sets off early in the morning in South Africa's Kruger National Park. The dogs are hard to find, even for Markel. Originally from Belgium, he's worked here for many years.
There's a lion just that doesn't look like the wild dogs would be around then.
Lions and hyenas are the wild dog's #1 predators. One of the dogs is carrying a transmitter, so Markel is hoping to track him down.
The sun is busy, it's quite high already and it's gonna get hot. It's one of these summer days. So whenever it gets hot, the wild dogs are not on the move anymore. So we must try to find them as they're busy moving.
But despite trying for 3 hours, Markel can't pick up a signal. He's starting to feel concerned. He shows us the enclosure, where he held a number of dogs before releasing them into the wild. All that remains is the carcasses they left behind. Programs like this one are designed to stop the dogs from becoming extinct. The biggest challenge was getting the animals used to each other, as they were brought from different parts of the country.
While they were sedated, we rubbed them onto each other. Like that, when they woke up very slowly, they could smell their scent on the other dogs, and then they believed that they were part of the same pack.
There are only 130 African wild dogs left in the park. Over the past 20 years, the population has shrunk to 1/3 of its previous size. Markel has yet to ascertain why.
It can be diseases, mainly carried by domestic dogs, such as rabies and canine distemper. It can be the fact that there is too many competition with other carnivores, like lions and spotted hyena. It can be the fact that there is not enough prey. And it can be also some snaring, so influence from the people outside the park onto the wild dogs in Kruger.
2 days later, it's another early morning start. There's still no sign of the African wild dogs. Antoine Markel has been scanning the bush each day. Then suddenly, a hopeful sign.
I've got quite a strong signal for them, about 500 meters, 1 kilometer on the management road.
He drives towards the signal and then keeps his eyes peeled. The sense of anticipation is palpable.
Yeah, here's one.
The rest of the pack appears. They've caught an antelope. Wild dogs hunt as a pack. They don't kill their prey immediately. They eat it alive, ripping apart the flesh with their teeth.
Yes, they're looking good, and it's nice to see that they're actually feeding. So they've killed an impala male, and that's an information that is very important to record, because we want to know what is their prey selection.
Amazingly, a hyena is lurking right nearby, with an eye on the antelope meat. But the pack does not beat a treat. On the contrary, together they are strong enough to keep the hyena in check. They drive it into a ditch. Only once the dogs have eaten their fill and move on, does the hyena dare to come out again. For once, it's the African wild dogs that have won in the battle for survival.
And now to Europe, and from dry land to the Mediterranean Sea. Here, an increasing number of ray and shark species are under threat of extinction. But Sharon knows more about that. Hello, Sharon.
Yes, Neota. The drop in population numbers seems surprising, given that Europe has strict regulations on shipping. But scientists believe that many are not adhering to the rules. They are illegally offloading trash or leaking bunker oil into the sea. One biologist in Bosnia-Herzegovina has begun examining some of the rays and sharks found dead in the region, with a view of finding out what is causing this population decline.
Marine biologist Andrej Gajic and his research team are gearing up for their next dive. They've come to observe the shark and ray populations, which have seen an 85% decline in the region. What they're learning is disturbing.
When we got first samples, we got 10 cat sharks from the coast of around this part of the Adriatic Sea, and we cut all the organs, and we didn't believe to find anything suspicious, but they were all sick.
On an ordinary dive, they descend about 50 meters. There's been relatively little research on the sea life here, and virtually no other studies on diseases affecting creatures like the leopard shark or the short-fin mako shark. This is part of the pathological collection at the University of Sarajevo. Scientists here study fish such as rays or skates, which end up as bycatch in fishing nets. The researchers X-ray them, take CT scans, and study tissue samples under the microscope. Around 90% of the samples showed evidence of disease.
It is normal to have up to 50% of the fat within the liver. And what surprises the most is that they have far more than the 50%. And beside that, you can see how the microvesicles actually destroy the cell.
They've also found hepatitis and degenerative tissue changes. The researchers have yet to uncover the cause. Andrej Gajic says it could take up to a decade to identify the environmental factors that contribute to these diseases. The town of Neum is on the Adriatic coast. It's a popular holiday destination for Bosnia and Herzegovina. All of the town's sewage flows directly into the sea, some of it unfiltered.
The wastewater that we need to deal with, and there's also need for better law regulations, which will help us to maintain our waste.
One cause for the decline of some species is overfishing. The biologists see sustainable fish farms as a possible solution. This one is owned by Ivan Krmek. His family fished here for generations until open water catches declined.
Our forefathers fished, but it was different then. They fished for themselves, and even they didn't have enough to supply the market. That's why we've started these fish farms. Today we can supply all of Bosnia and Herzegovina with fish.
The findings of Andrej Gajic and his team have raised international concern. Now Gajic hopes to open an ocean research institute in his home country. And he hopes that one day biodiversity will return to the Adriatic, so that it'll be as rich in species as this marine aquarium.